Women, you are taught that respect your boss, respect whoever, the pastor, the elders in the church, and everyone, and of which that is good, because respect simply in the right words. And that's why I usually tell people that people in the secular world, they don't respect. No, they borrowed that word. Respect simply, it is viewing a person the exact way God does view them. So in other words, for you to be a good person who respects people, you must know who God is and how he views other people for you to be able to respect them. Like, for example, when you see a pastor who has fornicated, do you call them a fornicator or do you say this pastor has fornicated? There's a very huge difference. When you say he is a fornicator, you are taking away the identity of who he is in God and exchanging it with what he has done. So in other words, he's saying this person is a sinner. But you see, sinning does not make you a sinner. Rejection of Christ or accepting Christ, it's what makes you a sinner or not a sinner. Now, I'm not excusing fornication and those other stuff. That was just an example. When we respect people when they do wrong, we don't say, you thief. No, we say, why have you stolen? So you see, those are two different aspects. There are so many things, but that don't want us to focus on respect. You've told to submit to your boss than submitting to your husband. What the Bible requires you to do, the only submission, it is to the Holy Spirit and to your spouse. Other people, other things, it is only respect. As simple as that. Now, I have seen this trend going on, whereby in our days women are saying, if he really loves me, he will give dowry. Or if he really respects me, if he wants me to respect him, he must bring big dowry to our home. Now, that is a lie. Do you know why? Dowry, it is biblical, but it is not a must for a Christian to do. They can choose to do it to entertain, let me say, culture. I call it entertaining culture. Because at the end of the day, the one who makes marriage, it is not the pastor, it is not the elders, it is not whoever, it is not even your parents. It is God and you and your spouse. Only three of you. So, in other words, the only people in human body who makes a marriage after God, it is you and your spouse. The rest we see here, it is a drama. The white gown, the black gown, the white suit, the black suit. All of those things, it is dramas. We are just entertaining ourselves and just having fun. But they have nothing to do with marriage in terms of authenticating marriage. Ask your parents how they married. Ask their grandparents how they married. White gown came after Queen Elizabeth wore it. And because the wedding was being broadcasted publicly, every person started. But white gown was made to show prestige, someone who comes from a unique family. And that's why it was white. But please, this has nothing to do with authentication. In fact, I believe Queen Elizabeth, who married back then, I don't think she was a Christian, like truly a genuine Christian. When you see the decision she made, as she was doing that, she was also causing slave trade here in Africa. So let's be very careful what we do and how we do it. The other day, someone told me as we were doing our PMCC, and then for us, we never gave dowry, exchange of dowry. So my father-in-law was that godly man. For him, he was like, no, if you want to give gifts, it's okay, do that. But we are not sitting down to bargain my daughter. And I liked that, because even me, that's what I had decided. I remember I had told my queen, I told her, listen, I'm coming to your family in honor. It's not that if you wanted you to marry me, we cannot go. We can go and we get married, whether people want it or not. Because at the end of the day, God does not say, please go and ask permission so that you get married. No, the permission is from him. How you communicate to your pastor, it is just for the sake of respect, and which is good. But now, I remember I told my queen, I will not enter into your father's house who claim that you are precious to him and also me who claim that I'm precious to you. In other words, you are precious to us. And we start to sit down to bargain you in money. I'll not do that. If I come and he says he wants 1 billion USA dollars, I will not concur, or I'll just say, it's okay. For now, this is what we have as a gift. Give us time. Just allow us to go ahead with the preparations of the wedding, and then we'll give it to you slow as the days go by. But I will not sit down and demean you, downgrade you in form of cows. 4 cows, no, 4.5. No, 4. No, 3.5. Men with beards, Christians, you sit down and you do that to your daughter who you claim she is precious, to your wife who you claim she is precious. You are lying to us. And if parents, they must say that in the Old Testament there was the dowry, here in, how do you call it? And in fact, they call it payment of dowry, by the way. It's a payment. You are purchasing, in other words. Let me tell you, I don't care how much you call it friendly, no, this is just a good culture. Listen, I cannot tell you how many marriages that have been delayed because the guy had no money. I can't tell you how many women who have brought bitterness in the heart of a man simply because she was like, you must give dowry to my father. I can't tell you how many families that never spoke after wedding because during those dowry, they were mistreated, misunderstood, and overburdened. And the moment the dowry were done, they were like, I purchased your daughter. Never I see you in my house any day. I purchased you from your father. Never I see you going there. Why? Because we want to do things as Jewish did them. We need to separate the things that they were given that were to come also to us, and also differentiate the things that they were given as Gentiles. I mean, as the Jewish people. If you want to give dowry as Jewish people do, I want you to come up with God, because they gave God. Not shillings, not dollars. No, you are saying you want the biblical way. So, because they killed, or because they wore certain clothes, should we wear them? Me, if you tell me you want to go the dowry way as African culture, then also do this stuff as African culture. Marriage has nothing to do with dowry. Please, remove it in your head and in your system. I know this can take hours and days of detoxicating you, because you have been detoxicated. You are like, the authenticity of the love of a man is seen through how much dowry he gives. Really? For me, this is what I told my queen even before we wedded. I told him, I remember I told her, I never want our daughter, when God blesses us with a daughter, to ever hear anywhere, whether with the uncles, whether whoever, saying that man, before he takes our daughter, he must. Listen, I don't want any dowry. If you are there and you are my future son-in-law, never you bring dowry in this home. If you want to come and tell me you are marrying and you are not bringing any gift, I'm okay. At the end of the day, I don't leave because you are giving me gifts. Others, you want that I educated my daughter. Listen, that is your responsibility. Were you doing it for me? How about me? Was I not educated? So should you also, your daughter, should she purchase from my parents? Listen, we need to understand a Christian culture from a Jewish culture and an African culture, or whichever culture come from. Because this is not only the Jewish culture, by the way. Even in other cultures, they do this stuff. The reason why you use the Jewish culture is because today people who are Christian, they say they are not doing it because of Africanism, but it is also biblical. Yes, everything biblical is not supposed to be done. Even killing sheep and raw stuff, it was biblical, and it still is biblical. But should we do it? No, Christ died for us. So we need to reshuffle and receive new culture that Christ brought for us, rather than sticking to the old former things that do not. The 10 Commandments were for those people. For us, when Jesus came, he brought us with grace and with truth on how not to sin and on how to live for him. So stop mixing and becoming, how do you call it? Is it the intertestamental or there's a vocabulary for it. You mix the Old and the New Testament all together and then you just there. Then you end up confused and bringing confusion to your family and to your daughter's marriage. So I have heard of men who went to take dates, loans to come and do dowry. And the wife is rich. Who bewitched us? Like, who bewitched us? Let's be genuine. How do you accept to delay your wedding until some of you even end up having sex and fornicating before even you decide to marry? Simply because you couldn't give. You need to know, is this the right man that God has created for me? The answer is yes. Do I need to go ahead and be married to him? The answer is yes. Is this man potential, even though today maybe he doesn't have anything? The same way even me, someday I may not have something. Yes. Why can't you withdraw the money and give them? That is if your family is insisting on the dowry. Here I'm not teaching men to rebel and not give dowry. If the other family insists on it, please, and you can afford it, just give it to them. As life goes on, they will understand what they did was wrong. Because you find a rich man is claiming that I need dowry for 1 million. To do what for sure? At least won't you let these people and start that life with that money? I remember I told my queen, we are not bargaining you with your father. And I'm not coming with elders, those who lived in Kenya, and even in Africa. You come with these big men, to bargain on your behalf. I mean, who bewitched us? Why are we involving? This is the life of our daughters and our sons. Why do we want to interject in them? We are honored they have come to us to give us good news that they are marrying. That is a privilege. That is a honor. But all of a sudden, we take these things and we make it our own. We start to make it a marketing place. And we start to make our daughter a product to sell. We start to make a man who is going to be a family member to us a customer who must give. It's a business. You've demeaned the man, but also you've demeaned the daughter. And then you wonder why they never call you after they are married. You wonder why this man never interacts with you as a family member. How can it be? The interest he had to pay, he paid membership. It is wrong, and let's stop it. Ladies, if you have money and you know this is the man I want to marry, I'm advising you, not because I gave dowry, I never did. And not because it was needed and I did not know it wasn't needed. I'm blessed to have had that. And I pray that it happens to you the same. But if it doesn't, if you see your family is insisting they need dowry, remove that money, give it to your man, and give. I'm saying this because I know women are getting higher places, good opportunities than men are. Maybe it won't last forever, but right now it's the situation you are in. Some women at the time they are 30, they are more stable than men. So now what will you do? Will you make this man to spend more 10 years and marry you when you are 40? Because he couldn't have, I don't know who. Anyway, we need the grace of God to just understand some things and just be detoxicated. But from today, people who say dowry is biblical, dowry is, even churches who ask, have you gave dowry? Listen, stop it. You can show it to me biblically, but you can never show it to me in the New Testament, where the word of God is telling a man that go and give a dowry. And if we are genuine, this is a Jewish culture. This is an African culture, not a Christ believer's culture. I'm not saying that someone bringing a gift to your home is wrong. Don't get me wrong. But these things you start to make a must. She must wear a gown. She must wear a net. All of those things, they are wrong. But to me, mostly today, it was to tell women, if you know you have a man who loves you, listen, either way, if he goes and takes a loan, when you come in marriage, you help each other to pay it. Okay, me, I want to give my salary. It is true, but his salary that should be taking care of your home will have to be cut to pay the loan. So either way, you have to contribute. So please stop that nonsense. When you decide to marry someone, already you are becoming one gradually. So don't fight that battle together. Don't accept your man to suffer that in the name he proves the love to you. What is proving love to you than choosing you over other women? Than accepting that you are the will of God over other women? Than saying, I'm going to marry and I'll make sure that our family is as stable as it can be. So let's stop that nonsense and become people who revere God and who uses the resource. And some of you refuse to give that money. And yet, when you hear someone who has died, you can even contribute more than your dowry can cost. Spend 1 million to buy a car. Why can't you give 1 million for your husband to go and give your home and marry you? Which one is valued more than the other? The car or your marriage?